more coming in. Where is it? Okay. Glad that many of you are able to still coming on time at this kind of timing. During holiday, I think it's not easy. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing screen first so that we can cover what we need to cover today. Okay, I will share screen with, as usual, I'm going to start with some PowerPoint slides first. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this over here. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to display setting. Let's see if it's showing the proper one. Okay, great. Okay, so morning all once again. So I'm going to start with this so that you have a clearer idea. Okay, so today is the second math supplementary June holiday lesson. Okay, so today's objective is very quick, very straightforward. History, we're going to go through the paper one. So the focus for these two lessons is really working on the paper one. Okay, so to more familiarize and also the topics that's more common in paper one. And homework for today would be, of course, 2018 paper one, as well as the follow-up, the next paper one. Okay, also a mid-year exam paper. So, of course, we have bought this Costco assessment book, if you can recall. We have not really used it quite frequently. I think we're going to start using it more frequently during the revision period, which is the second semester. Okay, but to start off, the holiday assignment, I'm going to show you what are the questions. Those who have not read the Google Classroom instructions, I will be showing you here as well. Okay, right. Okay, so continuing. Okay, so just a quick one. Some of you, the feedback that's given to during the last session. Okay, the June holiday. Okay, how ready are you? And how many hours are you spending per day? And have you come up with the plan and schedule for your revision? Okay, some of you mentioned, okay, one of you mentioned not really ready. Try to revise as much, about 3 hours a week for math. Okay, 3 hours per week. I think if you can try to increase for this person, right? Try to increase it. Make it maybe a 30 minutes to 1 hour per day. Okay, so so that we can increase that. So because 3 hours per week might not be sufficient. Okay, so if not, this holiday is a time that we don't need to go to school, and we have quite a bit of time to ourselves. Okay, so but of course you mentioned about relaxing. I think 1 hour per day or half an hour per day should be able to make sometimes to 2-3 hours of relaxing as well. Okay, so okay, this is good. I'm doing much of revision. Thanks. I have timetable to prepare. I'm going to make full use of this holiday. Good. So make sure that this person who wrote this are following the plan. Okay. Vaccination, all good. Any side effect? Any side effect not feeling well so far? All good. All good. Okay. No, you can always type in the chat group function. In this Zoom function, you can just type inside if you have anything to say as well. Okay. So not fully ready yet. Maybe I'll study those subjects and weaker first and practice more around 1 hour for each subject, which is good. Okay, maybe about make it a concrete plan. 1 hour is not too bad. 1 hour per day for each subject. Okay, not very ready. 5 hours of revision. This number is good. Okay, so you're trying to work on your weaker subject. Good. Okay. So around an hour or so. I'm not too sure this person, an hour or so is only for math, or is it for the whole other, including other subjects as well? If it's just 1 hour per day for all subjects, might not be enough. Okay, so maybe you need to do some planning. Okay, so the time management part is not ready. 1 hour per subject if can. This is good target. Okay, so kind of, but usually unable to follow. So you need to try to stick to it. If even you plan, you don't stick to it, then no point planning. I think that's the most issue. So when you plan, don't make it too ambitious. Okay, make sure it's feasible and you have some break time in between the studies also. Okay. Okay, not so ready yet. Constantly need to revise every day for like 2 hours. Okay, constantly revise 2 hours. If it's for all subjects, might not be enough. You can try to increase to 3 to 4 hours if you can. Okay. Okay, math tuition, there's only once a week, 2 hours per session. Okay, so very much depend on the tuition itself. Okay, for this part, okay, just to highlight that there are a couple of you are taking the O-level second time, so quite a number of you got the B3. So the very much target that we are aiming for is A1. So the target for A1 is really on getting reduce your careless mistake. That's number one, reduce your careless mistake. Second thing, of course, would be getting those hard questions, practice those hard questions. So now the approach for you guys is for those who are aiming for A's, okay, A1, okay, those who especially those who have done it before, B3 last time. So your target is really to work on the really harder questions. Okay, every time that you got a question wrong, make sure that you understand and remember and don't make the same mistake. All right. Okay, so this students here say no choice already, must study. Okay, 5 to 6 hours you break in between, which is good. Really, this is a very good time. Okay, every day that you spend this hour, but you must make sure you pace yourself, because from now, if let's say don't burn out, don't burn out. Okay, so make sure that you have some time to rest also. So you got to strike a balance. Okay, so I don't know who added this photo at the end of the palette. A funny guy. I don't know whether are you saying myself or you are saying that you are the funny guy. So okay. Anyway, so this is one of you who posted this. Okay. So next flow of the lesson for today, check in 10 minutes for what we are doing now. And also we're going to go through the quiz tree. And of course, I'll assign the homework, and remaining time we'll complete the quiz form and continuing to the rest of the day today. Okay, for today's guideline, I highlighted in red is the thing that is something new. Okay, but I go to first, please on your video, continue on your video like this. So we will see one another, I will see whether you are paying attention, you are still around or not. And mute your speaker throughout the session. You can turn on speaker if you have any question to ask. Okay, I'll be making some mistake because I guess I found this is quite useful, even though I didn't do it purposely last time. But I will purposely make some mistake to see any of you can capture my mistake. And if you do to see my mistake, and if you are the first to respond and to highlight my mistake, right, I'll be tracking those students' name. The one with the highest point who managed to correct me many times correctly, I'll be giving you some award, a small gift basically. Okay, when back in school. Okay, so this is the small encouragement for you to just stay on task, rather not on task, but rather just follow my lesson so that you can help me to also watch out for my mistake. Okay, chat function is on, and of course, the quiz submission is the last time I checked was about 6 of you who submitted. So for those who have not, after today you've gone through already, I will just submit your answer okay, so that I can take a look at it in terms of your work presentation. Okay, so YouTube channel, I have not uploaded any new video yet. The question 11 and 12, I will do it probably after this. Then you can, once the video is up, I'll update you all. Okay, the question. These are the topics that I think that we can revise. So of course, quiz 4 is the media exam paper. Okay, so this is the paper that you can do. So you spread it out for the rest of the June holiday. No, the deadline is when school reopen. Okay, so topic 1 to topic 7 are the topics that I feel that we can work a bit more on, and also some a common topic that is slightly weaker in. Okay, so please do try it out. This is the COSCO topical assessment book. So this information is also given in the Google Classroom. Okay, so this will be the homework lah. So you just spread it out completely when by school reopen. Okay, so every day try to do a few pages. I think that should be fair enough. Okay, any questions? No questions? All good? All good. I'm gonna get started. Okay, I'll stop share here. Then after that, I'll share on my iPad screen. And let me just. Okay. Sorry, okay. So Okay, I'm going to show you. Okay. Okay, so now I hope that you have already gotten your paper with you. Okay, so I'm going to start by going through all the different questions. The easier one, I'll just show the answer very straight away. Then for those harder, I will elaborate a bit more. Okay, so let me see. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to open up window. So later, those who make those that spotted my mistake, right? So you just on your mind and just alert me. Okay, just on your mind, alert me so that I can hear you and I can identify who. I will do a recording at the side. Okay, first question, we are supposed to leave your answer. Okay, let me just bring out the pen. First question, we are supposed to, for this type of question, we just need to key in the calculator. So the answer will be 0.21. Okay, straight away because they asked for two significant figures. Okay, so 0.21 will be the answer. Okay, anyone have a different answer? Okay. Okay, then move on. Okay, second question. The key thing that we need to take note of is to change the sign. So 4x minus 6, this one must become plus. Okay, 12x. And the common mistake that I would foresee would be this. Then after that, we just simply combine. Just make sure you put equal sign and 16x minus 6. So that will be your answer. 16x minus 6. Remember to transfer your answer down. Okay, to the line itself. That will be the part that the teacher will be marking. Okay, factorization. Okay, so this is a grouping method where we put the things 2 times, take out common factor 2 times. So you can see the first 2 terms don't have anything in common. These 2 terms also don't have anything in common. So we do have to rearrange the position. So we rearrange. So there's an x here, so I can rearrange with this x minus 2x plus q, then minus 3p and q. Okay, so after you rearrange, so we try to take out the common factor, so it's 2x. So that will be left with 3p. So this will be minus 1. And therefore here, we will also take out common factor. There's a q over here, but this will be 1 minus 3p. Okay, so next, 3p minus 1. Because this term and this term, if you can see that it's still not the same. Okay, so what we need to do is we have to change the same term. How to change the same term? You can see that they are directly opposite. So we need to flip. Use the flip method. So when you flip, you have to flip the sign. Okay, so the sign here you have to change. This one you have to flip. Okay, so this one becomes minus, becomes q, 3p minus 1. So now you can see that the term, they are the same now. So now that you can take out the common factor and 3p minus 1. Okay, that will be the answer. 2x minus q, 3p minus 1. All right, so I move on, quick one. Okay, so this is for the first page. Second page. Okay, set language. Okay, so now, can I get you to try out this part? And everyone try to key in your answer in the chat function. Okay, for this part 3A, what's your answer for 3A? Okay, can I just get you all to do that? Answer for 3A, anyone? Key in the chat function in the Zoom. Okay. Yeah. So I repeat the instruction again. Let's try to see whether all can use the chat function. So just go to the chat, click on the chat, and after that, type in your answer into the chat function. Tell me what's the answer for 3A. Oh, many of you didn't get it or can't do it. Oh, okay, got 2 answers, reply, 78. Okay, right. Okay, a couple of you responded, 4 of you responded. Thanks for responding. Okay, so there are actually four of you and got 78. Okay, so I suppose some of you are not too sure. So let me just run through a quick one. Okay, total there will be 286 students, 214 study chemistry, 150 study physics, and all students study at least one of the science, one of the science subject, chemistry or physics. Okay, so okay, so if you look at this, right? Okay, the event, can let A be the event of studying chemistry and B event studying physics. Okay, so this will be the one. So the working is as simple as this: 214 plus, okay, plus 150. Then you minus away the total. Okay, because there will be people over here that's overlap. Okay, that means if you look at the in terms of set language, right? The one who is studying chemistry, this one studying physics. So there are people some of them belongs to this category where they both study physics and chemistry. Okay, so how do we find that group of people? Okay, it's basically add up the total, and minus away the total number of students. Okay, that will give us the people who are overlapped. That means those who study both subjects. Okay, so I'll repeat again. So this part, because 200 and 214 is this portion, 214. Okay, and this portion over here in green, whole thing over here is 150. So both include this overlap portion. Okay, so what we need to do is just plus these two together, because since the total, which is what we call the universal set, the number of students is 280. Number of people of the universal set is 286. So we cannot have anything more than that. So therefore, we just plus these two numbers minus away that 286. That will give us the so-called the overlapping students. Okay, so if you so this would be the method to solve this type of question. Okay, so second part. Okay, we are supposed to find A intercept B complement. Okay, so first I'm going to use red color. I'll do the one that's inside first. A intercept B. A intercept B is this part, right? So A intercept B complement will be anything that's outside here. So basically your answer will be anything when you straight outside here, and just leave the one in gray. Okay, blank. So this will be the answer. Okay, so this will be the answer, and of course if this erased. Okay, so this will be answer for part B. Okay, so next question involves probability. Okay, so there's two students selected at random. Who are the students? Both study science subject. Both science subject. So the number of students that study both science subject, of course, you must get the first part A answer correct. So those who study both science is 78. And the total number of students is 286. So with these two information, so the probability of getting the both is 78 over 268. This is the first student. And the second student, because of the fact that one student is removed, so therefore you left with 77 and 285. Minus 1, minus 1. So the answer is 7 over 95. Answer. Okay. How many of you managed to get this? Just show of hand. Anyone? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, the rest didn't manage to get that. Okay, right. So this time around, to just remember for this type of question, you just need to remember. I think the key thing is the second part you must minus 1. Okay, so this is already minus 1 and minus 1 for total, because one student is already removed because you already picked the first student, so the rest of them you must overall must minus 1. Okay, right. Okay, moving on. Question number 4. Okay, So question 4, the common mistake that I've seen over here is this. Even the answer key is not quite right, but let me try. Okay, 5a. Okay, I'll just okay, 5a divided by 1 over 2ab minus 1. Okay, so very first thing that we always do when we have this kind and it's a divide here, right? Okay, we try to flip it. Change the divide to times. Okay, so after we change the divide to times, then we try to do other things that we need to do. In this case, okay, because we have this power -1. Okay, so therefore it becomes 2a over b. Just remember the common mistake that what I see usually is I will see that some of you will bring the whole thing down. This is the wrong. This is the common mistake. Okay, so remember the power only belongs to the b. The power -1 only belongs to the b. Okay, so the things that you, excuse me, the term that you're going to bring down is only the b. Okay, so you just bring down the b, and therefore it will be 5a times 2a over b. Okay, so in this case, the answer will be 10a squared over b. Okay, right. So next question will be the one that is quite hard. Anyone managed to try it? And want to let me check the answer whether it's right or wrong? Anyone managed to try it? You can key into the chat function. Anyone have tried and can you key in your answer inside the chat function? If we got n equals to 0. Anyone else? 0 generate. Okay. Okay. So 2 of you attempt, 3 me too. Okay, right. Thanks. Okay, thanks for the reply. Keep the reply coming. I can see all the reply at one glance. Okay, so I'm going to share so you guys are correct. Good. Okay, so how do we do this? 4n minus 64 to the power of n equals to 0. Okay, so therefore, what we need to do is just bring this over, and we need to compare the. So whenever we see this type of question, right, the power is unknown. The key thing that we need to do, the first step we need to do is, make it slightly bigger. Okay, make both sides the same base. Okay, must remember, whenever we see this type of question, the power is the unknown. Okay, make both sides the same base. Okay, so both sides should have only one term, like one term here, one term here. So after that, we change to both sides the same base. So 64 is 4 to the power of n. You're correct. Then after that, we continue. So equals to. Okay. Okay, nobody responded, but 4n equals to 4 to. Okay, so, all right, good try. Okay, so 4 to the power of n equals to 4 to the power of 3n. So therefore n equals to 3n. And you can see that the only time so we bring across becomes 2n equals to 0, and therefore n will be equals to 0. Okay, so great. So this is the answer, how we work towards the n equals to 0. Okay. Right. So next question we are going to do is direct inverse proportion. We have gone through one of these questions previously. So y is directly proportional to x to the power of n. So therefore, the first thing we can write down would be this, which is y equals to k to the power of x n. Okay. So now we have to write down the value of n when y cm cube is the volume of the sphere. Okay, so this question is slightly different. They give us a context. Okay, so y equals to the volume of the sphere and c is the radius of the circular base. So of course, this the thing that we need to connect or relate to will be, what's the formula of a sphere? Anyone can recall? Volume of a sphere? It's actually at the first page of the exam paper. Anyone can recall? Can on your mic and just speak up. Sphere. I'll bring you. Do I have that page? Let me see. That page too. Okay, so for those who are still not sure, or probably you didn't memorize it. Okay, volume of a sphere is this. Okay, you can find it at the second page after the cover page. So it's 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so this is page 5 now. Okay, so therefore the volume of this thing is 4/3 pi r cubed. So we try to connect to this equation. Okay, so they say that write down the value of n if they are actually, y is actually the volume and the x is actually the radius. So you can see that the thing that connects the two will be the radius. Okay, radius is x. X is the radius, so basically this is this. And this 4/3 pi is actually your k. So the n will be equals to 3. Okay, can see the connection. So I repeat again. So the information given to us is this is the volume of a sphere. Y is the volume of the sphere, and x is the cylinder. X is the thing. So the best guess that you can do, if you can't understand what, you just write down the volume of the sphere first, and you try to compare the equation that you have formed out. The equation is y equals to kx to the power of n. Then you compare to 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, 4/3 pi r cubed. So you can see that and they mentioned that x is the radius, so therefore x is equals to r, and n must be your cube. Okay, right, let's move on. Okay, so the next part is the length of the side of the cube. Okay, so now so this is another scenario. So now y is the length and x is the volume of the cube. Okay, so this is a bit tricky. Okay, so volume of a cube is equals to y times y times y. Okay, so x equals to y cubed. Okay, since they mentioned x is the volume now and y is the length, so in this case they are connected in this manner. So how do we relate back to this? Y equals to kx to the power of n. So this equation we need to relate to this. Okay, so we need to make y the subject still. So y will be equals to x to the power of 1/3. Okay, so therefore, of course, your n will be 1/3. Okay, why is it 1/3? Some of you might be asking. Okay, so whenever we bring a fraction, the power over, we do the reverse. So if it's 3 here, I bring across, I divide by 3. Okay, so when I divide by 3 is 1/3. So when it's y squared equals to x, I square root. So square root is actually also equals to x to the power of half. So technically what we are doing here is we divide by the power. Okay, so in this case it's divided by 3. So the default number is 1. So therefore when I divide by 3 is 1/3. Okay, so I hope that I explained for those who are not too sure why is it 1/3. So this is how we do it. We need to rearrange, make y the subject. Okay, so this is for question 5. Okay, moving on. Okay, next part. Okay, prime number. This one I'm going to go give straight into give straight the answer. Give the answer straight rather. So times 5. So you can check your answer whether it's correct. This is basically breaking down. Okay, break down them into their index prime factors. Okay, so this question is something that I've gone through before. Becomes a multiple. Okay, so I marked some of your work. Some of you got it good. Some of you still not too sure how to do this type of question. So in terms of working, I would like to write in this manner. So 240, K is here, and your final 25. So 240 is actually your 2 to the power 4 times 3 times 5. And 250 is 2 times 5 cubed times 11. So remember, to make a multiple of a number, multiple of a number, right? Okay, so you must have all this number inside. Yeah. Okay, because as long as you have 2 times 5 squared, 5 cubed times 11 times any other number is a multiple. So you must have all these numbers inside. Okay, you times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times any number is a multiple of 2750. So now let's check whether we must have these other numbers must have. Okay, so I want to repeat that again. So what do we? So we must have a 2. We have 2 to the power 4. So we have more than enough. Okay, we must have 5 cubed, but we only have 5, so not enough. So we need to top up a 5 squared. Okay, we need a 11. We don't have any 11, so we need to top up a 11. Okay, so the final answer that we need to give will be this 5 squared times 11. Okay, and therefore this will be K will be equals to 275. Okay, so far, if I'm going too fast or anything that's not too clear, please let me know. I will slow down or I will. Yes.
If I use the lowest common multiple, then divide by 240, is it possible? Divide by the, yeah. By using the lowest common multiple of both.
Lowest common multiple of both, then after that you divide by that number.
By 240.
Do you get the same answer?
Yes.
I think that works as well. Common multiple, lowest common multiple between the two, then you divide by that. Yeah, I think it works. Okay, so that can be another method. Good, thanks for bringing it up. So if any those who are not too sure how to do this, this method, right? You can use what Jerry has mentioned. So find the lowest common multiple. Then after that, use the lowest common multiple, divide by 2750.
Divide by 240.
Oh, sorry, 240. That's right. It should be 240. Okay. So this is step number 1, step number 2. But this one, of course, it will involve a bit more steps. But for that 1 mark, but I think to secure that 1 mark, if let's say you're not too sure, I can't remember our method, then we can try this. Okay. Okay. Good. Thanks for pointing out once again, Jerry. Okay. So next question is LCM HCF problem sum, very common. Okay, you can see that there's nothing in the question talk about the highest or the largest or the biggest or so on and so forth. So when you don't have such word, okay, in the question, right? So what they are trying to say is we need to find the LCM. Okay, so basically the LCM of these two. Okay, what we need to do is find the LCM of 30 and 45. Okay, then we can find out that. Okay, so the LCM of these two will be equals to 2 times 3 squared times 5, which is 90 minutes. Okay, so after we found the LCM, 90 minutes, all we need to do is we just add up the time. This, then after that we plus by 90 minutes. And that will give us 0900. Then that will be the answer. Okay, show of hand, anyone, those who got this part correct, all good? This one, a few of you. The rest don't really put up your hands. That means you'll be okay. Okay, those who didn't get it correct. So remember, this type of question is always either LCM or HCF. Okay, so all we need to do is to make a good guess. Okay, basically, when we don't have, I want to repeat that again, you don't have any such words in the question. What is the biggest or what's the largest number? Oh, someone left. Okay, in the question, right? We are always finding LCM. Okay, so that would be for this part. Okay, so moving on, next part. Okay, so as you can see, this is another common question. Finding what's wrong with this kind of this diagram over here or the chart. Okay, so first thing you need to first reply whether you agree or not. This is your first question. Agree or not agree. Then after that, state one aspect. Okay, why is it misleading? And explain how it is a misinterpretation. Okay, so the keyword over here is first thing, no. Okay, yeah, let me just okay, hi. Okay, so first thing is you must make sure that you answer to the question. So first of all, do you agree? No, I don't agree. Okay, okay, why you don't agree? Okay, okay, it's because, and then you start to explain why is it one aspect that is misleading. Okay, so because the graph didn't start from 0, you can see that it's very common kind of thing, but it's not always the only answer. It doesn't start from 0, it starts from a number. Then, of course, the jump is not regular. Okay, and after that, then you might, of course, you need to explain by the fact that this 2014 looks like 2016 looks like a lot more than 2014 based on the graph. It looks like at least three times or 4 times more. Okay, but in actual fact, that is not the case. Okay, so I'm going to write it out. So the proper solution. So the graph, okay, did not start from 0. Okay, then of course, then it gives a misinterpretation. Sorry. Can the misleading representation that the jump in the increase in employment rate is very high. It's very big. Okay, it seems okay. So basically, right. Okay, so I highlight the key thing. So we reply no, we don't agree because it did not start from 0. Why is it misleading? It's because it looks like, okay, because the increasing of the employment seems to be very big, but in the actual fact it's not. Okay, because the numbers are increased by a bit, so definitely not even 2 times. Okay, so this is some of the things that you need to reply, write down for the answer. Okay, so for question 8, it's talking about GST question. Okay, so just break it down. So now the question says that the bag is priced at 321 as inclusive of this. So the first thing that comes to our mind is this value is actually 107% because it's already inclusive. Okay, so then the next part, they say they make a profit of 25% after giving 10% discount to the customer. So calculate the cost price. So first thing is we try to exclude the GST first. So we try to find the original price without the GST. So you try to find 100%. How much is this? Okay, so therefore it's these two number diagonal. So we just 321 times 100, then divide by 107. That will give us $300. So this is the original price. Okay, so now, so this is the original price, and this price is given 10% discount. Okay, so 10% discount. So what we need to do is we need to just find, okay, the 10% discount, how much is that after that? So it's basically finding 90%. So 100% represent 300. So I want to find 90% equals to how much is that? Okay, so once again, 300 times 90 divided by 100, that will give us 270. Okay, so 270 is the after discount. After discount. And next part, we are supposed to find the cost price. Okay, because this 270 now, okay, 270, we still make a profit of 25%. Okay, that means when we see the word profit, right, it's more than 100%. So now this is, we're going to have a new percentage to this 270. So the percentage becomes 125%. Okay, 125%. Okay, so we want to find your 100%, which is the cost price. Okay, always remember cost price is always 100%. Okay, so the profit or loss will be, we add or subtract accordingly. Okay, so in this case, it's profit of 25%. So we add from 100, we add another 25. So it's 125. So therefore, we want to find what is this price, which is the cost price. So these two diagonal one, we will multiply 270 times 100, then divide by 125. That will give us 216. So the answer is 216. Okay. Anyone have a question about this? Okay, if not good, we'll move on. I'll try to speed up a bit because we have quite a fair bit of questions to go through. Okay, this is question 9. Okay, so question 9, this is the range that's given. So last time I went through in class for this type of question before. So we always use the biggest, smallest, and if there's any 0 and 1 in between, we try to use that also. So -2 is the lowest, 2 is the biggest. There's a 0 and 1 in between this range of numbers. Same thing for y. So we have a -2 lowest, the biggest is 5. There's a 0 and also a 1 there. So we want to find the smallest value. Okay, so in this case, the first one must be as big as, as small as possible. The second one must be as big as possible so that we can have a big negative value. Okay, so in this question, the smallest possible value, if you try and error, right? When you square it, the smallest it can go is actually 0. Okay, because if you put a -2 after you square it, it becomes 4. You put a -1 square, it becomes a 1. 0 square is a 0. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is a 2. 2 square is a 4. So the smallest it can go is this. So do a very quick check by just substituting the numbers inside. So a quick one, so x should be a 0 square to make it the smallest. And in this case, y, okay, to have the biggest value over here as a y square, of course, we need to put the biggest number. So in this case, it's 5. So 0 square minus 5 square give us the -25. Okay, that will be the answer. If you try to put in any other number inside, you can do the try and error. Okay, you put in any other number inside, that will not give you as low as this, as small as this, which is -25. Okay, so the smallest value for the second part. Okay, so if we want the smallest value, okay, fraction will be a bit more complicated. Okay, fraction first, you must think, is it positive or negative? So if it's a positive fraction, okay, to make it as small as possible, right? The top must be as small as possible. The top must be, the bottom must be as big as possible if it's a positive fraction. But if it's a negative fraction, we want to be as small as possible. The top must be as big as possible. The bottom must be as small as possible. Okay, so let's take a look. Is there a chance of getting a negative value? Of course, it's a yes. So we're going to do a try and error. We just use all this set of numbers that's given. We try to pump it inside. Okay, so if it's a negative value, top must be as big as possible. Okay, so I will try to use two. Okay, so in this case, let's try 2 minus 1 over y. So let's say as small as possible over 2. So this is 1 over minus 2. So it's minus half. Okay, so another possible answer, let's try again. So let's try when x equals to 2, when y equals to 5. So let's try whether it works. So 2 minus 1 over 5, of course, will be 1 over 5. So this is not correct. This is still smaller. So we continue to try and error and try other combination. So we can have this, the 2, still again 2 minus 1 over 1. This will still be 1 over 1, so this is not as small. Okay, so the answer is minus half. Is it correct? Minus half? Okay, right. So let's continue. So that will be the answer. Okay, so 10A, the next question. Oh, okay, no one corrected me. Okay, so it's a false alarm. Okay, so this is not the smallest number yet. So if you manage to try more combination, okay, so if you try a more combination, actually you can minus 2 over minus 2 minus 1 over 1, that will give you minus 3 over 1. So that will give you a minus 3 as an answer. So which is not correct. The minus 3 is even smaller. Okay, so you can see that for this particular question, right, fraction, and that's positive, negative, there's a lot of combination to try out. So so my advice is, if you want to secure their marks, right, try all the different combinations by using all these numbers over here. So put in, let X be something, let Y be something, try the different combination and do a comparison. That will probably take 1 minute or 2 to get that 1 mark. So if you don't think that it's worth it, then you can skip the fraction and come back later if you do have the time. Okay, right. So I'm going to move on. Okay, so 10A. So completing the square, run through a quick one for those who are still not too sure or can't remember. Okay, so right now, so the thing that we need to plus, we need to plus something square, and after that minus something square, and then something is a fraction, which is over 2. Okay, so the number that we need to put in will be the number over here. So 4 over 2, 4 over 2. So we plus something square minus something square. It's the same number of the fraction over here. So these 3 terms combined will give you x, a box, and the number square. This thing we just press calculator. Okay, so it becomes a +1. And the thing that we're going to put in over here is, of course, the sign. If it's minus here, you put minus. Whatever fraction here you have over here, you just put it down here, which is a 2. So the answer will be x minus 2 bracket square plus 1. Okay, so that will be the answer for this part. Okay, so next, once you've got this information, we have the y equals to x minus 2 square plus 1. So don't spend too much time for this type of question. First thing is, the advantage of this is we can find the turning point straight away. So x minus 2 equals to 0 to x equals to 2. And the y will be equals to 1. Okay, so the 2 things that we can find straight away is the x and the y for the turning point. So with this information, we roughly have an idea. 2 is here, 1 is here, so the turning point is here. And when But by looking at this, the shape of the graph is actually a smiley face because this x squared is positive. So we can very quickly, we can know that the shape looks like this straight away. Okay, but probably the only thing additional that we need to find would be this so-called the y-intercept. So the y-intercept will be sub x equals to 0. So when sub x equals 0, we can see from this equation here, straight away will be equal to 5 because y equals to 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 5. So all these are 0, so y will be equal to 5. So this is just 5. Okay. So this is 5. Okay, label the equation. Just label this y equals to x squared minus plus 4x. So minus 4x plus 5. Okay, so that's all we need for this graph. Y-intercept, turning point. Must make sure you can label it to be sure. You just label it and also label the equation of the graph. Okay, all right. Okay, moving on. Okay, what happens is okay. So it's loading. Okay, so this question have some diagram that is not able to load. Let me take a look at the original question. This is question number 11. Okay, right. So it's the graph question. Okay. So I'm going to just write it down here, even though you cannot. Let me try. Okay. Let me just put out this first. Okay, so for this question, there are a total of 6 figures. Okay, so we are supposed to find out which figure represent the first part. So part A, they mentioned that y is the pressure is proportionate to the square of the volume. So y, just write down the information, y is proportional to the directly proportional to the square of the volume. So that means y equal to kx cubed, kx basically. Square of the volume, that means square of x. So basically what you are seeing is y equal to kx squared. So y equal to kx squared. So this is the graph that you are supposed to be looking out for. So when it's the y equal to kx squared, right? So a very quick recap. The first graph that you see, this is the line. This is y equal to x. Okay, so this is y equal to x style graph. Okay, the second line that you see is also similar, but just that y equal to x plus t. That's a y-intercept. This is a 0. So the y-intercept is 0. The third line that you are seeing, so what type of line is this? This is when you have y equals to 1 over x. Okay, so 1 over x means what? Or even 1 over x squared. Why? Because you can see that when it gets near to 0, right, the value gets bigger and bigger. So this is the fraction property. So 1 divided by anything that's very small, 0.0001, right, the value becomes bigger. So therefore, you can see that the graph goes up. And when the numbers gets bigger, the x value gets bigger. So 1 divided by 100,000 or 1 million, then the value gets smaller and smaller. So this is a pattern of a graph which is a fraction. Okay, with a fraction. So it can be either 1 over x or 1 over x squared. Of course, the third line going down, this type of line is still also y equals to x plus c, mx plus c, but this gradient is negative. The fourth line is going up this way. So this is a graph that actually we see most often. So if you complete this way, right, it's actually something like this. Y equals to x squared graph. Okay, y equals to x squared graph. Okay, and the last question last type of graph. Okay, over here, it's not a shape that we have learned in terms of that for EMAP itself. Okay, so it's not x cube. So in fact, for this second graph over here, right, it can be y equals to x cube also, depending on the other half. Let's say the other half bottom is going down this way, it's x cube. But if it goes up this way, it's x squared. Okay, because square all becomes positive, so therefore it goes up. Okay, so back to the question. So we want to find something with x squared. Of course, the thing that we link to will be this. So it's this graph. So it's figure 5. Figure 5 is the answer for part A. Okay. Okay, so moving on to the second question. So for part B, they're asking for the distance traveled 1 kilometer by a car with respect to time. Okay, so this is a bit tricky. You need to link back to the time, speed, time, distance. So the distance, dst, the formula is linked in this manner. So distance equals to speed times time. So in this case, they say distance is the y. Okay, and the time is the x. Okay. Okay, so this is the equation. Y equals to s times x. Okay, at a decreasing speed. Okay, so the distance traveled at a decreasing speed. So in fact, that will be for this. If you can recall back the speed time graph, right? When we have a decreasing speed, of course, will be this information over here. Okay, so this is the time. So this is speed. This is the time. So the speed is getting slower and slower. Okay, so for part B will be figure 6. Okay, figure 6. Get this first. Right. So question number C. Okay, so we are finding the booking total cost of booking a ticket, movie ticket at the time, and booking fee is $1.50. Okay, so this graph, because we already have a fixed cost, $1.50. So once you start booking, the price is $1.50. Then after that, you multiply by how many tickets you buy. Okay, then you increase accordingly. Okay, every time is $7. So in this case, the graph, of course, will link back to this particular, which I highlighted. So part C is actually your diagram, this diagram, which is diagram number 2, figure 2. Because this one will have a fixed price. So the key thing is here we have a fixed price, so therefore you don't start from 0. So it's not the first one, and you start to increase constantly going up. Okay, so that's for part C. $1.50 at the flat rate. This is just like taxi. When you enter the taxi, you have to pay a flat rate of straight away $3. Even haven't start traveling, $3 plus. Then after that you start traveling, then the price will increase constantly. Okay, so prices that have a starting price like a flat rate at the start, you have to have this kind of graph where you start not from 0 but at a certain value. Okay. So, right. So this will be for question C. So we are done with question 11. So let's try question 12. Okay. Okay, running this. Okay, so the actual parameter. So this one I will not go through in detail. Okay, so this one will be just 12 kilometers. Answer is 12 kilometers. So I just want to highlight that if you want to convert, it will be 30, 1,000, and 100. Yeah. So total of 5 zeros. Conversion rate, remember. 1 kilometer is 1 with 5 zeros here. Okay, this is what I call 100,000. Okay, so second question, B part 1. Always remember whenever you see the area, we always convert to the area ratio. So, and when we convert to area ratio, one thing that I think is good to have is use the unit that they are asking for. So original unit is this. So I convert to kilometers first because that's what they wanted in kilometers over here. So 1 cm, when I convert to kilometer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it becomes 0.4 kilometers. And once you got this, then you convert to area ratio. Remember, area ratio, you just need to square the area ratio, the length ratio. So to get the area ratio, so must remember, you get, once you got this, you get the 1 mark. Then the rest of it, you just sub in the value, which is 400 cm square over here. Then you just find the unknown. So it's 0.16 times 400 divided by 1. That will give you the answer of 64 kilometers square. Okay, so just remember that this part, this secure, this marks, this is a topic that you can score really, not too hard. Okay, so next, now they give us the area ratio. They want us to find the length ratio. Okay, so now the same farm. So basically, this farm that we have found previously, the area 64 is used for the other map. So this is the area on the map, km square, and the actual area is 64 kilometers square. So we just put it down this way. Now we need to convert back the area. So first thing, before we convert, try to square it, we try to reduce first. But of course, in this case, we cannot reduce further because that's the lowest term. So what we do next, after we reduce, then we try to square root. Okay, if we cannot reduce the lowest term already, then we start to square root it, which is 8 kilometers. And therefore, we can just convert because they want 1 is to n, meaning to say you must have the same unit on both sides. So therefore, this should be 1 cm is to 0.5 kilometers, and we cannot keep it as this. We have to both convert to kilometers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, cm. And after that, we must cancel away the cm. So n equals to 50,000. Okay, so that will be the answer for this question. Okay, next, money exchange. Okay, so let's take a look at this question. So we want to exchange the euro dollar, $400 for birthday trip. Sorry, holiday trip, not birthday trip. Then we want to exchange money in Singapore and Europe. So basically in Singapore is this rate, in Europe is this rate. So where we should change. So basically in Singapore, this is euro, yeah, correct. Okay, so assuming that okay, so we want to change 400. So let's see how much does you need to use to change this $400 euro in Singapore. So in Singapore, so all we need to do is 400 euro multiplied by 1.65. So that will be how much Sing dollars you need to pay, which is 660. Okay, so you need to pay 660 to get the 400 euro. Okay, so that's in Singapore. So in Europe, okay, in Europe, so how much is that? So so SGD1 is representing 65 cents. Then I want to change 400. How much SGD I need? So it's basically 400 times 1 divided by 0.65. So when you divide by 0.65, that will give you Sing dollar of 615.38, round off to 2 decimal place. So comparing the two, we can tell that when we change in Europe, it's cheaper. Okay, change to euro is cheaper. So in this case, we both convert. We try to see how much it costs to change 400 euro. So the first one in Singapore, you need to spend 660 to change euro, but the second one you need to only spend 616 and 38. Okay, then you justify that. Okay, we need to change in euro. Okay, so I will not write that down. So I'll move on to the next part. speaking up. Okay. Okay, question 14. Okay, question 14 is inequality. There's something we have learned this term. Okay, so what we need to do is we split left and right. Okay, so how do we split left? So minus 5 over 2 and 5x plus 2 over 6. Okay, so this is the left, and of course the right will be this x minus 1 over 5. Okay, so once we got this, we just need to cross multiply. So minus, okay, so minus 30, then this 10x plus 4. Then we can do the manual. Then after that, we bring the 4 over. So it's minus 34 is 10x. Okay, it's minus 34 divided by 4, which is equal to x must be greater than minus 17 over 5. Okay, that's one side. And the other side, the same thing, cross multiply. So 25x plus 10, 6x minus 10. So I just multiply straight away. And after that, we simplify, will be 19x. And this one 10 bring over, becomes minus 16. So x will be minus 16 over 19. So this is the second part. So once we combine these two, one is x is greater than this, but x must be smaller than this. When we draw the number line, okay, we can see that the largest integer is minus 1. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, if you press your calculator, this is actually minus, it's minus 3 point something, 3.4, 3.04. And this is actually less than 1. So if you look at this, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and minus 4. So over here, this value is over here, somewhere here. And this value over here, minus 16 over 19, is somewhere here. So the range is this range, from anywhere minus 0 point something to all the way to minus 2 point something. So the largest integer that they want, of course, will be the one that's nearest to the right hand side, which is minus 1. So the answer for this question will be minus 1. That would be the biggest integer. Yes.
It's negative 34 over 10.
Negative 34 over 10. Yeah. But it can be reduced. 34 over 10, then we reduce will be the same value. Okay?
But you wrote net over 4.
Ah, okay. Thank you. 34 over 10. Okay. Is that Xinghui that was speaking? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Okay, with your video off, you can still, okay, can. No problem. Thank you. So I'll note that Xinghui has corrected my mistake one time. Okay. So thanks for that. So next question, we're going to move on. We need to solve the equation. 15a, I still, whenever we are looking at this type of question, I will still strongly recommend to use the formula method. So the a is actually 3, b equals to 7, and c equals to minus 6. And the formula is not too hard to memorize. You just need to memorize just before you enter the exam value. If you are someone who are forgetful. So x will be equal to minus b, it's minus 7 plus minus square root b squared, which is 7 squared minus 4ab, which is minus 6 over 2a. And you just give the answer x equals to 2/3 or x equals to minus 3. 2/3 or minus 3. Okay. And that will be the answer for this. Then the second question, hence, solve this. Okay, so we have to try to understand when we see the word hence, we need to make use of the previous answer. So how are we linking these two together? So let's do a comparison. Okay, minus 7a minus 34 equals 0. This is what we have. And what is given previously was 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 equals 0. So this was previous. Okay, so by comparison, the very first thing that we see is, of course, our x now is replaced with a minus 4. Am I right? And this part looks a bit messy. Okay, totally not too sure what's going on. So let's assume that, okay, the question are asking us to convert the x equals to a minus 4. So we try to replace this a minus 4 square. Then I replace the x over here also with the a minus 4 with a minus 6 here first. So let's see whether it works. I keep the a minus 4 inside here first. Then I expand this. So after you expand, you realize that, and this part, when we simplify, actually it becomes, let's become that. Okay, there's an error. There's actually a plus. It's plus over here. So therefore, with the plus here, this one should be a minus. And after you got this minus, and you can see that, yeah. So we can safely conclude that from the equation that's given for part B, okay, how we link to the part A answer is basically just replace our x with a minus 4. Can see that? So I repeat again. You can see that the new equation, which is this, actually how we derive with this is actually all we need to do is just replace all the x, previous x by the x here, just replace with a minus 4 to get the new equation. Okay, so how does that help us? So in short, we are supposed to use the answer and replace the x with a minus 4. So x just now was equals to 2/3 or x is equals to minus 3. So now all I need to do is I replace the x with a minus 4 equals to 2/3 and the a minus 4 equals to minus 3, and I can solve my answer. So 4 and 2/3, or this is a equals to 1, and we can solve this answer. We are supposed to solve this right after a. Okay, so let me confirm. Is it correct? Anyone managed to get this? Anyone? Okay, right. Good. Okay, so I'm not too sure how many of you have tried this, but when I go through, I hope that you please go and try those other questions. Okay, especially those that I highlighted that is harder. Okay, so now moving on. Okay, this question. Okay, I'm going to go straight because I want to save time. The answer will be 108. Not too hard. I'm not going to go through. Okay, the percentage for this of preferred Milo. So the whole idea is you need to find what the angle for Milo. Because since you found the angle is 108 here, so it's not too hard. So you just find the angle. Okay, then find the percentage. And the percentage is 45%. Okay, I'll skip this. Okay, so for question 17, so next part is question 17. It's talking about the surface area volume ratio, surface area ratio. Okay, so we're going to continue the next part. 25 and 1 to 1 to 1. And 1 now, let me just okay. We have 25. So now this question, they talk about the surface area is 25 cm squared, and this is 121 cm squared. Okay, these two pyramids are similar. Okay, 3D figure, and they are similar. So the thing that comes to your mind will be L1, L2, A1, A2, and B1, B2. So must remember when you see this type of question, this must come to your mind. So how to find the ratio of the height? So basically, all we need to do is just need to find the area ratio, 25 over 212, 212, so 1 to 1. 1 to 1. And basically what we need to do is square root, so it's 511. Okay, so the ratio will be 5:11. Answer. Okay, the next part, of course, usually they'll talk about different ratio. out, they give us area ratio, they ask us to find the length ratio, the next one will be the volume ratio. So when it's melted, okay, so when it's melted, right, so you basically talk about the volume. Okay, volume ratio. So now volume ratio will be just 5/11 cube. So that will give us 125/1331. Okay, so this is the volume ratio. So volume ratio, since we got the ratio, all we need to do is I just divide. Okay, the big over the small, so it's actually 10.648. And of course, you need to round up. What's the minimum number of the small pyramid required? Okay, so they require 10.6, so therefore we need to round up, so we need at least 11. Okay, so answer will be 11. Okay, right, so moving on. Question 14, page 14, which is question number, okay, so question number 18, so it's on the coordinate geometry. Okay. Okay, so the graph is given as type. I will record this, 31. So we have this horizontal line and over here. So at point C, which is 0P, which is point C, which is point B, which is 12 and 9. And this is point D, which is 15,0. And this is the A. Okay, so this is the triangle. This is not down to scale. Okay, so first question, they're asking us that AB is parallel to the x-axis. Okay, and AB is equals to BC equals to 13 units. Okay, so first thing we need to find is to find the coordinates of A. Okay, so since first thing, when they mentioned these two lines are parallel to one another means, okay, this is parallel to the x-axis. So this is a horizontal line. When the horizontal line, so the key thing over here is what value remains the same. If we have another coordinate here. Anyone remember? So what coordinates remain the same? We have a coordinate B, is a horizontal line here. We have an A here. So which coordinate is the same?
Y.
Thank you so much for sharing, right? So when you have horizontal line, the Y value is always constant. Okay, so in this case, the Y value straight away will be 9. And since they mentioned the length is 13 units, so from here, starting from B, which is 12 over here, the X value is 12, so therefore this is 12. All the way to here, the unit is 13 units. So therefore over here, it must be 12 plus 13. So therefore it becomes 25. So the coordinates for this A will be, coordinate A will be equals to 25,9. Answer. That's for the first part. Okay. So for part B, okay, we are supposed to find the value, show that the value of P is equals to 4. Okay, so now so information given. So there are two methods we can use, two methods. Either we use gradient, usually for this type of question, it's either use gradient or we use the length. Of course, the gradient can also mean sometimes we use the equation of the line, y equals mx plus 2. Okay, so in this case, nothing mentioned about the equation of the line, but we are given that, if you remember, they mentioned BC, AB, they are all equal. The length are 13 units. This is given in the question, by the way. So when the two lengths are equal, we can use that method to solve it. Okay, so in this question, okay, all we need to do is so we use the formula. So length coordinate B is 12,9. Coordinate C is 0,P. Okay, so these two coordinates, so we use the length of BC equals to the formula is y1 minus y2 squared minus plus x1 minus x2 squared. So we just plug in the value and the unit must be 13. Okay, so therefore over here y1 will be 9 minus p squared plus x will be 12 minus 0 squared. Okay, so I can square on this side. I remove the square root. So left with 9 minus p squared plus 12 squared. So 13 squared minus 12 squared equals to 9 minus p squared. So this one is actually equal to 25. 25 equals 9 minus p. So I square root this. So it will be 5 equals to 9 minus p, and p will be equals to 4 units. So it's all these are solving algebra. Okay, so the key thing that I want to bring out, the idea behind it is actually making use of the length. So how do we know it's using of length? Because there's nothing, no mentioning about the gradient on the graph itself. If you look at the graph, this is the line over here. This is the line over here. And there's nothing mentioned about the gradient. There's no equation of the line given as well. So the only thing that is mentioned is the distance. Distance of this BC and AB is the same. So therefore, you can guess, and therefore we are using the length method to solve it. Okay, so that will be for part B. Okay, so remember this is the part that we are weaker in always, the coordinate geometry. So we're going to practice a bit more on that. Okay, so for part C, we have that write down the equation of line that's parallel to x-axis and passes through this point C. Okay, so if you look at the diagram, so it looks something like this. So point C is over here. So point C is here. So basically, there's a line that passes through this point C and parallel to this line, x-axis. Okay, so in short, the equation of line, I want to bring this back again. There are 4 types of line: going up, going down, horizontal, and vertical line. So I've been saying this a couple of times. So the first two, these two types, the equation of the line is always equal to y equals to mx plus t. Going up is positive gradient, going down is a negative gradient. Okay. When it comes to horizontal line and vertical line, these two are a bit more special. Horizontal line is always y equals to a number. If it's a here, you just write with a. Vertical line is always x equals to the number. If it's b here, that means x equals to b. So in this case, for part C, very straightforward, will be just y equals to the y value. So coordinate of C is 0, 4. So therefore, just y equals to 4. That will be the line of equation. Okay, y equals to 4 for part C. Answer. Okay, so that will be for part B. For part D, equation of line BD. Okay, equation of line. So let's recap. How do we find the equation of line? So equation of line, this time of line BD is going down. BD, if you look at this, sorry, BD is going downward. So all we need to do is use the 2 coordinates to find. So we have point B is let me take a look. Point B is 12, 9. Point D is 15, 0. So we have these 2 coordinates. The 2 things we need to solve. Okay, those are still not very clear about the coordinate geometry. Let me try to highlight it. Whenever we want to solve a coordinate equation of line, we need to solve 2 things. Gradient first, followed by the C, which is the y-intercept. Just these 2 things that you need to find. So how do you find the gradient? Very straightforward. We know the formula. We have the 2 coordinates here. Just bring in y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So write it down, and if you need to label x1, y1, this is x2, y2. This will help you to prevent confusion, because some of you somehow you got this, but you put down the numbers wrongly, arrangement. So y1 is 9 minus 0 over 12 minus 15. So the gradient will be equal to minus 3. Okay, so we got one part already, 50% done. So after we got the gradient already, so I sub in the gradient minus 3x plus c now. So I still have one more c to solve. So how do we solve? We can sub in any value, any coordinate, either the d coordinate or d coordinate. So since d is easier because there's a 0 there, so I sub in d. So d is the y is 0, the x is 15. So therefore, the c will be equals to 0 equals to 45, negative plus c, so c is 45. So don't leave this as your final answer. You found your c, you found your n, you need to put it back in your equation. So y will be equals to nx plus c, will be minus 3x plus 45. Answer. That would be your equation of line. Okay. So remember the the equation of a line not too hard. Find two things. Then the two things you need to find is the n and the c. N gradient you can find, no problem. With the two coordinates given, you can find quite easily. Then the next thing will be the c. So to find the c, start with the time. Okay. So moving on. Okay, for part E. So for part E, we are supposed to find the area of triangle ABC. So triangle ABC, let me just run A, B, and C. Okay. So A, B, and C is over here. It looks like this. A is here, B is here, and C is here. We have all the coordinates. So for this kind of graph, right, we try to use the base and the height. Remember the base and the height, because area of a triangle is half times base times height, am I right? And we want to use the base and the height that can be easily found. So the base must be a horizontal base and the height must be a vertical height. So in this case, we try not to use this length and this length to find the base and the height, because it's too troublesome, or in fact we cannot find the base and height in this manner. So this is wrong. So what we need to do is always try to use the length, the vertical, and the horizontal. So in this case, the height should be here. Okay, the base should be the horizontal line, which is over here. Okay, so once you got this base and this height, so because we have all the coordinates, right, we can use the coordinates. This is 12, this is 25. We know that this is actually 13 units. We just now found it's given in fact 13 units, and the height. Okay, so based on the coordinates, the y value of this b is 9. This 9 over here, and coordinates of this c is 4. The y value. So the distance from here 4 to 9, of course, will be 5 units. So all we need to do is area will be equal to half times the base is 13 times the height, which is 5, and we'll get the answer. Okay, which is 32.5 units. Right. Okay, so that will be for part E. We have a part F. Okay, part F. I think this is the last part. Okay, so part F, we are supposed to find the coordinates of point E and where E. So E is, if I were to draw this diagram out, E is a point such that it's on the x-axis. So BCE is on the straight line. Okay, right. So I think we need to draw this. So B is here, C is here, and it's supposed to be extended further, and it's on x-axis. And because it's a straight line, so E is somewhere here. So we are supposed to find this coordinate. Okay, so first thing first, when it's on the x-axis, okay, something is 0. Okay, so to save time, I'm not going to ask the question. I'm going to tell you straight away. So when it's on x-axis, y equals 0. So let this unknown be x. So let E be x common 0. So the things that we know, we have already found, which is this is 0, 4, and this point is 12 and 9. If I'm not wrong, yes, 12 and 9. So since they are on the straight line, the concept we are going to use to solve this part is using the gradient. Something that we have learned before in the speed time graph, if you recall, the speed time graph, sometimes we use the gradient, we use the coordinates. Remember, I meant always write down the coordinates you have, and then after we use the common gradient. So therefore, for this question, all we need to do is to find the gradient of this line first. After that, equals to the gradient of this C and E, and we can solve it. So in short, so what we're going to do is over here. So the gradient of BC must be equal to gradient of EC. So BC equals to EC. So the gradient are the same. So I'm going to write down 12 minus 4 over y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2 must be equals to the gradient of y1 4 minus 0 over 0 minus x. So straight away we can write down and put them together straight away. And we can solve this. This is 5 over 12 must be equal to 4 over negative x. Then we can solve by cross multiplying, and therefore the x will be with the time, the straight away is minus 48 over 5. That will be the answer. So the coordinates of E equals to minus 48 over 5, comma 0. Okay, so that will be for part F. Okay, so that's for this question. Okay, so I will continue unless anyone stop me, then I will stop. Okay, that's one question here. So let's continue. Okay, question 19. Okay, this is something that is not too hard. I will probably give you the answer straight away. If you need me to help you, then to let me know. So the angle for this EDG will be this part, will be answer will be 50. Okay, to find this, basically we need to find this angle. After that, we find this angle, we can find this angle. Then after we got this angle, then we can find this. Okay. Right, so that will be for this first question. Angle EFI. EFI will be here. This angle. Okay, so over here, we need to find by this one a bit harder. We need to draw an additional line here. Make it parallel line. So this, if you can't see this, right, you're going to be having hard time to solve this question because it's 3 marks. So what we need to do is we have to find this angle because this corresponding angle anyway. So this is 60. So after you got this, you can find what is this angle. After you got this angle, we need to find this angle and this angle. So we need to find this angle first by using this parallel line. This is actually 130 because to see here, this is 130. So this is 120. We are 60 here, this 120. So with 120, 130, we can find this 360 minus this 2, which is 250, so it's 110. Seems like it's a corresponding angle. Okay, 110, 110. Okay, so if you can see that, you can actually do a shortcut. Then after 110 here, we can solve this, then this will be 70 degrees. Okay, so in a nutshell, I have just explained a very good one. So the first one is, of course, if you are really fast enough, I have mentioned this line and this line. This line is parallel, this line is parallel, this line. So straight away, 110 here will be 110 because this is 110. So once if you are able to see that this 110, then straight away, because of the sum of the interior angle, therefore this is 70. Okay, that's a shortcut. But if you didn't see that, like what I've done over here just now, I did a long method. So 50, I find this angle first because this parallel line, parallel to one another. So it's 130 here. Since it's 60 here, this is 120 here. So 360 minus this 2 will give you 110. And therefore we can find this. Okay? So I'll not write down the working. So to say come to the answer will be 70. Okay, so moving on. Okay, second property. Okay, question 28. Determine whether this is the diameter of the circle. Okay, so don't be like me. You need make sure you need to read through all the questions. AC is a diameter. So this is a diameter. Okay, and AC extended to this F. So CE is equal to CF. So it's indicated there. CE and CF. Angle 85 is given. X degree and Y degree. Okay. So to check whether D is the diameter of the circle. Okay. So first, okay. So let's see what is given to us. So whenever this kind of question is given, right, the concept behind it is actually you need to make use of this property, which is angle in the triangle in a semicircle, or rather, there's a 90 degrees in a triangle when it's within a semicircle. So basically, this property that I'm showing over here. So a triangle formed with the diameter here from out touching the circumference is always 90 degrees. So the key thing is we are asking whether is this a diameter. So what we need to check is whether is this 90 degrees or is this 90 degrees. So very clear cut. Since this is the line, if this is a diameter, this must be 90. But in this case, it's not, because over here it's 85. So straight away we can conclude. Okay, since it's 85, it's not a 90 degrees, so therefore it's not a diameter. Okay, basically no, because angle EAD is not equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so therefore we cannot use the angle at the circumference, or rather angle in the triangle in the semicircle. A triangle in the semicircle is not, cannot apply that one. So therefore this is not a diameter. Okay. Okay, so next part, angle ACE. ACE is over here. Okay, let me just erase the previous part so that it's clearer. Okay, ACE is this angle over here, this small angle. So we are supposed to find this angle, okay, in terms of X or Y. Okay, so therefore we can make use of this information. So if it's just one mark, usually it will not be too complicated. So let me just take a look at that. Okay, so we try to figure out what information we have over here. So this is the diameter. This is the angle that we are supposed to find. So 85. Okay, the angle, the answer would be just 2 times of x. Okay, and why is that so? Okay, because of the fact that this property is not very clear. Okay, we are looking at this triangle. This is x over here. This is x over here as well because I saw this triangle. Okay, so therefore this angle here is 180 minus 2x. Agree? This angle in red is 180 minus 2x. Okay, so now since this is on the same straight line, and to find the one in blue over here, I need to use 180 minus away this angle in red, which is 180 minus 2x. So it gives you back 2x. Okay, so The answer given over here is they give just one liner, so it's actually just 2x. And the property that's used is actually external angle. External angle equals to 2 times of rather the sum of interior of opposite angle. Interior of opposite angle. So in short, whenever with a triangle, this is a property, whenever you have a triangle, right? If you want to find the exterior angle over here, right? All you need to do is to just find this angle plus this angle. So A, B, and C, C will be equal to A plus B. So this is what they're trying to. Exterior angle is equals to the two interior angle that's opposite plus together. Okay, let's do this. Any exterior angle here, if you want to find this straight away, is to just find the two interior angle that's opposite of this. Okay, we'll give you the value straight away. In fact, this is not really a EMF. I think it's not really an EMF. EMF receivers, we do an EMF receivers. Or you can just think of that. You can, if not, you can do the long method that I've just mentioned over here. You can find the angle in red. Then after that, then minus away the angle in red. Okay. Okay. Second part will be answer will be 180 minus y. Angle BCD. So that will be the answer. So let me just see also 1 mark. So BCD is this angle. So the thing that you'll be looking at should be this angle from BCD. Okay, so it's not this particular coilateral. The coilateral that you'll be looking at is this coilateral. As long as it's four-sided, all the four sides are touching the circumference. It's important. You must touch the circumference. Then you can apply this. By the way, do you all have a Zoom session after this? Do anyone have a Zoom session after this? Yes or no? Have. So no. Okay. So yeah. For those who have, is it just the long that have it? Is it AMAP?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those who have it, you can leave the Zoom session first, because I'll upload the video. Just give me just a few more, I think 5 to 10 minutes if you don't mind. For the rest of you, I will just run through a quick one. Okay, for those who really need to go, just go off, don't worry. I will upload the video. Okay, that's on time on target. Okay, so therefore, okay, let me continue this part. So this is the property. How do we find this? This is the property of opposite angle. Sorry, angle in the opposite segment. Anything that's opposite here. So A plus B equals to 180. Okay, so this is the property we are using here. So since y is opposite here, then I just need to find 180 minus y for this the answer. Okay. Next, DBE. Okay, DBE, the answer given will be 85 minus y. So how do you get that? 85 minus y. So let me take a look. DBE is right over here. B, and E. So this is the angle. Okay, so this is the angle over here. Okay, so to find this, anyone managed to get this answer? 85 minus 1? No? Okay. So let's take a look at this. The same thing, so this 85 over here. And over here. Okay, so okay, so how do we do this? Okay, I just managed to see this is a bit confusing. Okay, so first thing first, the one drawn in blue over here is your triangle, right? So to find this over here, we have already have y here. So we need to find what is this angle here first. Okay, maybe I'll just leave it in red. I need to find the angle in red first. So angle in red is actually 180 minus 85, so it's 95 degrees. Okay, so 180, sorry, minus 85. Yeah, correct, it's actually 95 degrees. So so therefore, this is 95 degrees. So to find this angle, so since it's in the triangle over here, so it'll be 180 minus away the 95, minus away the y. So that will give you back to 85 minus 1. Okay, so that will be for this question, 85 minus y. It's just 1 mark. Okay, if let's say in exam you have explained this kind of question, please do not spend too much time, because circle property is something that sometimes you can't see. You will spend a lot of time looking at it, so you can do it at the last part. Especially so when you only looking at just 1 mark there. Okay, but of course these are the questions that will differentiate between A1 and A2, or even B3. So if you are not able to see this and not able to get this mark, then you have lesser chance of getting a A1 mark. And how do you get this is of course with more practice. Okay, so construction, I will not go through. I will take a look at the diagram, and then I will take a look at that from there and mark the diagram itself. Okay, let me see the last question, last page. Any other thing? Oh, in fact, this is the last question for construction already. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so this one, I will not go through. It's going to be a bit hard. I'm going to put on the video as well. Okay, so now the time is 9:40, and I apologize for around 10 minutes. Anyone have any questions that you want to clarify? Okay, if not, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to release you for your homework session. So please complete the homework that I given to you. Any point of time during the holiday, if you have questions, text me. Okay, I might not be replying straight away, but I try to reply as soon as possible, whenever convenient. Yeah, okay. But of course, for this question, I will just give you an idea. Let me just share my screen for this part. Okay. I'll share my screen to show you the answer, how it looks like. Can you see my screen? Okay, so this is how it looks like. So the answer for this is 20 degrees and 0.40 degrees in terms of bearing. So we can do a quick check. Okay, remember the key thing that I want to highlight over here is the construction arc must be shown. What is the construction arc? All the construction arc you construct for angle bisector, perpendicular bisector must still be remaining, must still stay there, and please label your different parts. Okay, so that will be for the answer for the last part. Okay, so we are now done with this paper 1, 2017. So after going through this, please try. You have at least have some sensing of what's your score like. Then try to improve your score for the next paper. Okay, so with that, I will not hold back further. Any questions, please text me. You can even call me if you want to. Then if not, enjoy your holiday and at the same time continue to revise and work hard. Right. Okay, so I will see you all. Goodbye. Bye. Bye.